We are live for the SUSE QE Tools Workshop. So welcome. Today, the topic that I had planned is how to work with OpenGA videos or in presenting what OpenGA videos can do and also what we had recently done there. So let me find the right window. So yeah, this is the schedule. So today, the specific topic that I want to mention is more efficient video encoders used. But let's first show how videos work. So let me go to OpenGA OpenSUSE.org, go to all tests, and let's just find one test that recently finished, like one of those OpenQA in OpenGA tests actually. You can pick this test, and if you go to logs and assets, then you will find a video. You click that link, then you should see an internal media player, and you can just start that, and then you see like a quick step through the test, all the commands that are typed, all the clicking that is going on. Now, what can be done is, depending a bit on the media player, one can select, for example, to execute that much slower, but sometimes it's still a bit too fast. So what I can recommend is sometimes if you're really like looking for, let's see here. So the typing, that's fine. But if you wonder, like, where is the mouse cursor clicked? And then sometimes you don't see where that happens because you're missing one frame in between. This is why I recommend what you can do is you can save the video. Either it's not visible here in the screen share, you can, like, from the context menu, you can save the video locally, run it with a local video player, which then can allow you to go over the video frame by frame. Or if we go back here, we can just click that download link, and then it's actually a direct URL to the video. It either plays directly or, you can save that again to a local file. Now, this test is just 4 minutes long, so it's not really such a long test. Let's try to take a look for one that is a bit longer. For example, here we can see that this has 11 test modules, right? And it takes 20 minutes. So we expect that the video in there is a bit longer and also a bit bigger. Of course, when we play it, then what we see is the real time stamp, but the overall runtime of the video is shorter than that because of the time compression. If I now, and this is why I use Chrome here, because what I found that we can use more tools, developer tools, and then there is media. So normally it goes like that, and then there's media, or if it doesn't find that, there's more tools, media. Then we can take a look here. Then we see that what we use normally on OpenQA, OpenSUSE.org, and this is now the much more efficient video compression, is that we have a WebM video and it's a VP9 encoded. So it's a royalty-free video codec, which is more efficient than the default. The default being the OGG video format, which is, let's say, from a technical perspective, a bit easier to handle, because what we did here is, for the worker, we have configured an extra video encoder command. So if I go here, okay, I need to log in. So then it shows me the details. No, it doesn't. Okay, never mind. I will look up the settings soon. Let me see, do we have something like a really old video which we can compare it with? So what I'm looking for, any older video where we, no, this is also WebVM, doesn't matter. If I go to, for example, OpenQE, internal instance there, we are still running the default video encoder for now, but we have plans to change that. Let's see. Now, okay, so this one is configured to not record videos. Or looking for a past one. So there we go. And we have the video, and we see here that this is org video form. So this test is showing a runtime here of 1 minute 20 for the video. And if we check here the media information that we see, it's that FMPEG video encoder, and then the size is 9 megabytes. So it's also not really that big because, you know, it's only XGA resolution, and because of the time compression, we don't save that many frames, but overall this accumulates, and this was also, so it's 9 megabyte for job that runs for 20 minutes, which is also one of the, let's say, shorter ones. Actually, due to space constraints on OpenQA SUSE QE and other instances, we have configured to not save a video if test maintainers have selected to extend the max job time beyond the default being 2 hours. Meaning, if you configure a job to say, oh yeah, this can take longer than 2 hours, then by default no video is recorded because the video would be too big, or overall we do not have that much storage to be able to store that. We count, then it's like roughly 0.5 megabyte per minute in org video format. But with the newer VP9 format that we selected, it's only a fraction of that. So we are much more efficient with the VP9 encoder. So now, how is that possible to do? That is possible by using a specific setting on the worker. So let me show you the auth audience settings. Auth audience records the video, and here there's backend verse, and if we look for video, then we find that there's a possibility to define an external video command. So we have this internal video encoder, which is the org video encoder, but we can be much more flexible if we spawn an external video encoder command. And examples are given here, and this is exactly like this is verbatim what we use on our O3 workers is the FFmpeg call with the VP9 encoder, creating the videos that I have shown to you. So this is what we use on O3. And my plan is that we also deploy the same on OpenQA SUSE, so that we will be able to store videos more efficiently and with, let's say, a computing overhead which is acceptable. Of course, that also can be tweaked very much in these parameters. For example, the CPU used is a parameter which tells you for the VP9 encoder, like how much effort should the encoder do investing CPU cycles versus compression efficiency. So smaller video, but longer CPU, but longer runtime of the encoder, or more CPU usage, or less CPU usage and bigger videos. Okay. So this is one thing that we did. And as I said, the plan is to have that deployed on OSD as well. After that, if we good result of that, if we actually see that the result storage decreases sufficiently, then we can also consider to enable videos by default again, even for OpenGA jobs that are set to be running much longer. Okay, so where the max job time is longer than the default of 2 hours. Now, what we also did is some years ago, we looked into the AV1 video encoder, because the AV1 video encoder is also royalty free. It's a new development. It's a successor of VP9, and I think it looked really promising. So in late 2020, we tried to use the AV1 video codec as potential new default. But our findings were that we were not ready yet at the time, or we are not ready yet. So we tried out different encoding parameters, different ways to encode it, and in principle, it was definitely possible to encode videos, but with such a big slowdown that you would even notice as users that, you know, engage jobs are busy the whole time just encoding videos, which was not seen as useful given the fact that the encoding efficiency for our needs wasn't improving that much. Now, I thought that maybe that situation has changed a bit over 3 years. So I created a new ticket for the team to pick up, to do a second attempt to try out AV1 video codec as potential new default, because, you know, 3 years later, there can be quite some development in this regard. And there are some new developments. So one of the results that you can see here is actually that we provided the second example now using actually a podman call. And this also works in production now on one, let's say, prototype OpenGA worker, where we say, okay, we want to use a different tweaked version of FFmpeg, which in this case is coming from container, also provided by a fellow SUSE colleague. And we can also use a podman call to be spawning the video encoder in parallel to the OpenGA job when it's running. And then again, you have some parameters to tweak, and the results is visible here. So we have no, not visible here, sorry, is visible here, because you can see the OpenGA worker 19200. That's a special instance that we have just created to test out the AV1 video encoder. So here it looks, of course, looks very much the same. And also here, it very much looks the same, right? You just have a video, and actually, if you would like run that in full screen, you would see that it looks really comparable. If you would like to do a side-by-side comparison, maybe you would notice something. Now let's check what the developer tools tell us about the media information. And here you can see the difference. You can see the difference, which is that we have the DAV1D video decoder. So my browser is using a different decoder to show the video, which proves that this is actually, you know, was encoded with a different video encoding. And, you know, reading from the name, and it's the AV1D decoder means that this is the AV1 codec. Oh yeah, right here we can also see it directly. It says AV1 is it. So this is pretty cool. Right now, we are actually the size is not by default smaller than the VP9 version. So let's say it's still up for evaluation if we actually want to replace VP9 with that, because like AV1 was made for showing movies, which normally have a higher resolution and have different content than the computer generated content here. So it might even be that it would be really hard for AV1 to compete against VP9, which was already or is already very efficient. But it's possible, and we can tweak that, or actually anyone can run custom OpenGA jobs with the video encoder command, assuming that the right commands is available on the machine. Like if the FFmpeg binary is there and it has all the libraries, then you can run an OpenGA video and have the video encoded at the special settings. Yeah, so basically what I wanted to say, what I want to present about the plan. There's one thing which I can mention as a neat hint if you haven't realized. So here we can find the video of the complete job run. Often it's helpful if you want to start from a certain step, like from here where something graphical is going on, and there's a direct link to the video here, and you can jump to the video at that keyframe directly, and then you see it's already starting there on the next keyframe, and then it continues there. It shows the desktop runner and then continues from there. It also stopped automatically. Let me show you again. Let's pick this. I click here. You can see in the address it says gives 2 T marks, so that's like a before and after. If I click here, then it shows that, and then it stops afterwards. You see? And the cool thing about that, if you want to reference a video, you can also use those marks. And sometimes it's not exactly there where it shows something interesting. So I select sometimes also to tweak those manually a bit. So let's say I'm trying out with 3240 to 3250. And then I see like, okay, this is a bit earlier where it starts the browser. Maybe I want to show that dialog only. So let's go from 50 to 60. And oops, sorry, that was. I'm not sure if it does the right thing if I'm still in the same tab. So I open a new tab and I click yes. And then, yeah, it plays from there. Yeah, so that's it. What do you guys think? Do you have experiences with the video? Questions you'd like to ask? Problems you have observed? So feel welcome to bring up anything regarding videos. So here I can show you, this is the current ticket, second attempt to try AV1 video codec as potential new default. Where does that originally come from? We have an epic use external video encoder in production. And so this was also done 3 years ago. So we wanted to do that. And then here is the plan to do the very same on OpenGA SUSE QE. After now all O3 workers run the same. Now we can unblock that that call to use external video encoder in production on all OSD machines after we have evaluated if we should use AV1 or not. So depending on the outcome, then we will select an appropriate command for OSD, apply that there. We also have some workaround on OSD due to inefficient video encoder, because the original problem was that at this time in 2020, why did we even look into more efficient video encoders, is that, well, we had problems that OSD was running out of space, right? Which was actually this one. So, oops, no, sorry, that's actually a more recent one. It's just that we can yeah. So the story was that in 2020 we had a problem that, you know, from time to time, of course, I mean, that's, let's say, part of the daily work. We ran out of space on OpenQA SUSE QE for results, and then we looked into, okay, what's the biggest contribution to results? And one of the big impact was due to video. And then what we did is we said, like, okay, can we disable video for now? Can we be a bit more aggressive with this workaround, which is mentioned here, to delete some video of older jobs, but jobs that are not that old that OpenQA would already remove them completely, just remove the video. And then we looked into changing the actual video encoder. And as I said, this is part of daily life, that alerts like that happen. Eventually, file system can run, you know, can not run full, but, you know, near an alerting threshold. So we are just alerted internally. And that happened again 1 month. So where we have file systems alert for web UI results. So again, what we did is we looked into what was the problem. And we tried to mitigate the problem at that time when it was, you know, urgent to fix that, when we only had, like, okay, 700 gigabyte free, but it's actually not that much because that could fill up soon over 1 or 2 days. So we looked into various ways to do a cleanup. And then again, this brought us back to, can we just use a more efficient video encoder? And we didn't completely do that story. I mean, this is 3 years ago, so why didn't we finish it 3 years ago? Because, well, you know, time to time priorities and tasks shift. But now it's a good opportunity to look into this again, after we found that we would really benefit from more efficient video encoding. And that's it. So look forward to also having more efficient videos stored on OSD, and hence more videos preserved over a bit longer time. Okay, that's it about videos. Anything else you guys like to bring up as a topic related to videos, or also to others? Doesn't seem like it. So what I recommend as a topic for next week is that next week we can discuss about OpenQA test issue management best practices, how to file new test tickets properly assigned to appropriate teams, triage issues, etc. That's a topic which I think is very suitable for newcomers. We had done this topic already in the past, maybe in a similar fashion, but we can take a look from the current point of view. And I would really much appreciate here if you can also share your real life examples here, like how does it work? You look at OpenQA tests, you find something failing. How do you understand the problem? How do you then report a ticket accordingly? How is the triaging done? Okay. So thank you for your attendance, and hope to again see you next time. Bye.